Ra-ta-ra-ra-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ra-ra-ta. 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 To Kill A Mockingbird. Let's start analyzing. To Kill a Mockingbird. Let's start analyzing. I'm Vukovic Theolit. Vukovic Theolit. What's up, Theolits? Welcome to a new episode of To Kill a Mockingbird. This is Chapter 5, Analysis. Let's do it. Chapter 5 is like this. The mysterious is not meant to be questioned. Let it be, or else you are intruding on people's privacy. And now, time for our thought-provoking questions. Let me get my new pointer stick. Yes, this is a very good pointer stick, so I'll just go like this. All right, so thought-provoking questions. Number one, what are the differences between Miss Marty's religion and Mr. Radley's religion, and how do these differences contribute to their characters? Number two, how does Atticus Finch's perspective on justice influence his decision on handling the fishing pole incident? And number three, this is a moral question, so type your response down in the comments below. Are there any special circumstances to which you would break someone's right to privacy? If so, which ones? If not, then why not? All right, guys, let's get into our new character for today. It is Miss Marty. Now, Miss Marty is this very kind and generous and lively person. She may be usually inside, but she doesn't like the inside. She likes being outside in her garden, right? But the only thing that she hates about her garden is her weeds. As Scout Finch later recalls, she uses this chemical poison that makes it look like the Second Battle of the Marne when she has to get weeds out because she knows that one weed can ruin her whole garden. Essentially, she knows the outdoors very well. And her generosity is only indicated, for example, in the terms that she gives Jem, Scout, and Finch. These terms are, you can play all you want on my lawn. I really don't care. She basically lets them do all these things as long as they don't do a few stupid things, which honestly make her a really nice person. Not only that, but she basically bakes cakes for them just to show more of her generosity. It kind of goes in accordance with the religion she believes in. Love thy neighbor. You see, she's a Baptist, and love thy neighbor was a key commandment in baptism, really in just Christianity in general. It was, I don't know if it's one of the Psalms in the Bible, but basically love thy neighbor means that you treat everyone you know with generosity. It's a sort of kind of Southern hospitality. Very in that stereotype of Southern hospitality and baptism and being overly religious. But honestly, this is not in a bad way they're religious. This is religious in a kind way, in an empathetic way. For example, Atticus Finch really appreciates her kindness towards others. And he even talks about that in one of the quotes that he makes. And I'm not going to tell you what that quote is. Go find it yourself. It'll be fun digging through this book. But at least you can understand how Miss Marty's religion is to help others, to be kind, that humanitarian perspective. But this is contrasted with Mr. Radley. Now, we all know the Radley family from Chapter 1. The Radley family is a scary family. We do not trust them. Well, we don't really like them at all. We heard about the scissors incident. Boo Radley tried to put scissors in his father. We heard about the gangs. We heard about how Boo Radley might be in a chimney right now. These are very frightening stories. And we also hear about how the Radleys don't go outside of their house. Well, I'll tell you why they don't go outside of their house. And this is part of their religion. Just like how Miss Marty's religion means that she's generous and kind and nice, Mr. Radley's religion means that he doesn't go outside of the house and they keep confined in there. You see, Mr. Radley is a primitive Baptist, while Miss Marty is a regular Baptist. Primitive Baptists are basically Christian fundamentalists. They follow everything in the Bible up to the tippy top notch. And so what he has to do is he studies the Bible religiously. Pardon the pun, but he does do this. And the reason why is because you need to be devoted to the Bible if you're a primitive Baptist. And if you're devoted to the Bible, what happens is that you don't have a real life. All you care about is spending time forming your own afterlife that you forget about your real life. You're so concerned about going to heaven that you never focus on what comes before heaven, on what ultimately leads up to heaven. You see, Miss Marty does not do this while Mr. Radley does. And that's that huge contrast. Miss Marty realizes that there are good things to life, that you should live in the moment. You should carpe diem. She gardens. She seizes the moment as she gardens. She cares about the flowers that she's been given because it's nature and nature is beautiful. But when the Radleys or like the friends of the Radleys go over, they say, you are going to hell. And you want to know why they say you're going to hell? They say it because she's spending too much time looking at God's flowers, at God's garden before actually preaching to God, actually earning that right, actually being devoted to her religion. And therefore, she's going to go to hell because she is not a devout supporter to God. Of course, as I've always said, or as she has said, the Bible can be worse than whiskey is in one father's hands. And the reason why she says this is, as I've already mentioned, the Bible causes you to fixate so much on the afterlife that you don't care about your life. And ultimately, that means that you're mean. You're mean because you're like, you're not following the Bible. You're not following the Bible. You're not following the Bible. And so what happens is that you don't regard them with kindness. You regard them with contempt and scorn. And well, that is dangerous. And it's very dangerous because ultimately you are hurting the connection that you have. You are hurting the community that you are in. You are hurting all those bonds and breaking them. And well, that is worse than anything that alcohol can do to a man. Sure, alcohol can make you drunk. Sure, alcohol can make you do wild things. But breaking that connection, being locked up in your house, that is the worst thing that can ever happen to someone. And funny enough, it's the Bible. That's got to be the most ironic thing because the Bible is about helping one. But if you focus too much on it, then you're not helping anyone. Just something to think about. Now, what happens with the Radleys is that although the Radleys are regarded as very frightening, as terrible people, well, not terrible, but terrifying, kind of like how Ivan the Terrible in Russia, he was ruling over and no one wanted to see him because he was scary. He could chop you up and have you killed. He's kind of in that way. They give these spooky vibes off that you don't want to like encounter them and just be normal with them because, well, they can respond in some scary ways. I mean, if they are capable of killing people with scissors, what can they do to you? Nathan Radley even shoots someone in chapter 6, just indicating how they will sacrifice nothing in order to show violence. Or to better put it, they don't want anyone intruding on their private space. And this is exactly what they do in chapter 5 by trying to annoy Boo Radley. Well, not just trying to annoy Boo Radley, but trying to get Boo Radley to respond, even though they know Boo Radley won't. They're pestering him and they're bothering him. You see, what they think is that Boo Radley is somehow in that house. And so what they try to do is they get a fishing pole, they attach a letter, and they try to wave that around. And the thing is, when Atticus Finch sees that, he's like, stop what you're doing. Stop this complete nonsense. And the reason why he says stop this nonsense is because he thinks that, waving a fishing pole is intruding in their privacy, right? They want to be left alone, and you're bothering and pestering them. And that just goes against all of, justice, of legal rights. People have their right to privacy, to keep to themselves, and they are infringing on that right. And Atticus Finch, as a lawyer, of course, is going to recognize this and say, well, guess what? If you're going to be a lawyer one day, you don't want to be able to do this. This is not a good thing to do. And not only that, he is able to catch Jem in the act. So he realizes what the play is about, but he doesn't let on too much. What he does is he provokes reactions from them. He says something too far. He says, oh, you're doing it because of this. And they're like, no, we're not doing it because of that. We're doing it because, well... And so then they already confessed that they were doing it. And by confessing, simply by the nature of confession, Atticus Finch catches Jem in the act and says, well, looks like you just confessed to me, Jem Finch. And after that, well, you can't really do anything, can you? If you admit to guilt, you can't say, no, I'm innocent. You're guilty. And so Atticus Finch does that beautifully by just mocking them and saying, are you doing this for the good of the community? Is that what you really think you're doing? Or are you making fun of someone? Are you stereotyping them? But back to what we were talking about before. We were talking about, is Boo Radley alive or dead? All right, so we always said that Boo Radley is very much dead. There's a huge chance that he was stuck up in the chimney. And this goes back to neighborhood myths and neighborhood legends versus the reality. You see, Miss Stephanie Crawford is this neighborhood skull. And what she does is she tells people stories. She tells people gossip. But the thing is, you can't believe that everything that anyone tells you, right? This gossip is mostly bullshit. This gossip is absolute bogus. And that's that thing. We think that Boo Radley is dead because it was stuck up in the chimney. This is that gossip that's surrounding it. It makes Jem very similar to Atticus's brother, Jack Finch. But the thing is, it's probably not true. What's interesting is that Jem is more close to Jack than he is to his own father, Atticus, who's much more about trusting other people, about, getting to the actual facts. I think Jack Finch is more about, he kind of believes more in gossip and rumors. And this might just be Miss Marty just mocking Jack Finch because, Miss Marty is like, oh, Jack Finch tries to annoy me all the time. So this is just her way of saying, Jack seems like the guy who would do this stuff because he's a very strange person, because he's asking her to marry him even though he knows that she will never marry him, just to get her angry. So that's kind of like, they're both very strange people, and we just see how Jem is a little bit strange, kind of like Jack. But what I'm trying to say is that he's probably not dead, because this is mostly neighborhood myths and legends. He's probably very much alive, and the reason why is because Miss Marty herself, and Miss Marty's a trustworthy person, remember. Stephanie Crawford, no one believes her one bit. Although she thinks that she's spreading good to the neighborhood, no one believes her, because, let's just be honest, she tells gossip. She doesn't tell the truth. Meanwhile, although Miss although Miss Marty can be blunt and straightforward with you, at least we know she's telling you the truth, and at least then we can trust you. And therefore, it's very likely that he is alive, right? Because she's never seen him die. She's never seen him go to a funeral. She's never seen him carried out yet. In other words, we've never seen Boo Radley gone. We have never seen a funeral or an undertaker get Boo Radley's corpse and carry it out to make him buried. We've never seen that. And since Miss Marty is a very trustworthy source, we can infer that most of these neighborhood myths and legends are just that, myths and legends. After all, sometimes a house is really just a house. A scary house does not mean that there are scary people. But obviously, when people see a scary house and a haunted house, they're going to think of themselves all that they want. But the thing is, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a house by its cover. That's the main thing that you have to realize. And although there may be mystery, as Miss Marty points out, behind closed doors, there's always a mystery. That mystery is not for us to figure out. Some mysteries are best left unsolved. And with that, Theolets, thanks for reading. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. And really, once again, thanks for reading. Start analyzing, and make sure you comment down below.